Thanks for getting us out. Can you see the breed communications complex? We were trying to break in, but they shot us down. The pilot bought it. I'm certain there's something important in there. It could be a good idea to take...
Yeah, it's one of those games. Breed is a 2004 title by obscure German developer Brat Designs. While not the absolute worst, Breed shipped with plenty of bugs. Even today it's almost unplayable, it's what you call a dumpster fire. It crashes while loading a save, it crashes while loading a level, it crashes while loading the main menu, and it crashes when playing. I'm sure Windows 10 doesn't help with stability, but I remember playing it on XP and it was bad even then. Furthermore, crashes aren't the only problem, but we'll get to the bugs. In general, this game screams unpolished, even from the main menu.
Proud, like a father. I stand here before you, the children I was incapable of having.
This monologue happens every time you launch the game, by the way. Let's begin.
The success of many failed experiments. I stand here, and a tear falls into my handkerchief. But it is not a tear of woe. It is a tear of joy and excitement, for I know what you're about to unleash upon the evil that threatens us.
Settings first. The game takes place in the 27th century. You see, the humans had colonized the distant system, but were attacked by an alien race called Breed. Earth sent the bulk of their forces to help the colonies, eventually saving them. And then I don't know what happens, because to get the lore from the game you need to load up a map and then quit to the main menu, hoping for a new lore monologue to happen. Even going inside the folder and looking at the voice file doesn't help, because the last one just won't play. Anyway, it looks like the Breed have conquered Earth, and it's now up to us to free our planet. Speaking of monologues, a real tournament man over here also tells us who we are. We're Grunts, or genetically revived universal tactical sentients. All of the soldiers we control are grown in tubes, and there's a near endless supply of them. Coupled with the intro, I describe the setting as Clone Wars meets Starship Troopers. Just a quick note, despite the soldiers being clones, not all of them speak the same way.
Split it!
Yes, sir!
Split it! Split it! Split it! It's just like playing with a small child. You incompetent sod! Stay down, you turd!
Woohoo! This is better than sex! Stop trying to hit me and hit me!
Go home to mommy, little boy. Hey, pussy! Ah! Switching weapon.
Maybe they were genetically programmed to have accents, I don't know. Gameplay wise, Breed tries to be a squad-based tactical shooters, but your AI companions are brain dead and the enemies are easily killed. You have basic formation orders, movement and fire restrictions, and you can ask your teammates to share health packs and ammo. However, with the exception of the very nice first couple of missions, the levels are very linear and scripted. The good news is that these sequences can be very fun. There's tank battles, turret sections and dogfights, we'll fucking get to the dogfights, that while good are extremely short and don't leave enough freedom to the player. For 2004 I'd say this game was too ambitious. If it had managed to pull it off without the crashes and the bugs, it would have been an amazing game. Ugly looking, yes, and with some atrocious levels in it, but the idea to have a combined ARM FPS with this possible level of freedom in 2004 sounds amazing. If only. Also, for the time, the destructible environment is amazing. Regarding the enemy, you're basically fighting the Geth. They're humanoid robots of different types. Fragile, not particularly fast, and glowing, the game doesn't hesitate to throw big numbers at you, which is fine, because their weapons are projectile based, while yours are mostly hit scan. Speaking of, you can pick up the Breed weapons, but I don't think you were meant to. The reload animations are fucked. You can see the edges of the glow, the effects don't line up with the crosshair, and the ammo count, well, look at this. 1,000 rounds in the gun, thousands more in my pockets. Guess what kind of weapon this is? Yes, this is an automatic grenade launcher with a magazine capacity of 1000, and it also reloads fast. I'll take it. There's also vehicles in this game. The Breed employs IFVs with a particularly exposed turret on top, artillery platforms, tanks, fighters, landing crafts, and a variety of automated turrets. You also have access to some vehicles, tanks with a billion weapons on them, buggies, ATVs, transport ships and fighter bomber VTOLs which actually handle differently when in space and when on Earth. Problem is, as I said before, you never get to choose anything. There's the tank levels, the fighter levels and the on-foot levels. The player has no agency in what equipment, squad member or weapons they'll be starting with. It's a real pity. The first couple of levels are legitimately good, with a long distance to travel, optional locations to check for loot and weapons and multiple paths to take. If more levels had simply given you a goal on the other side of the map and set you loose, then the game would have been great, but that's not the case. Oh, and before I forget, take a look at the lean system. Speaks for itself. There's also a third-person camera that's completely useless. You can't aim with it, sometimes frames you from the side and can't go underground. Why even? Now I want to take you through the campaign. If you want to play Breed yourself, don't. The game is actually free on my abandonware, but I seriously don't recommend it unless you got patience to spare. Already from the tutorial I could tell I was in for something else, because after I got the hang of flying a fighter, this happened.
Automatic landing procedure activated.
And every single scripted event is subject to this kind of failure. The first mission is probably my favorite. I think it also came with a demo.
May I present your group? Sniper.
G'day.
Grunt. Heavy gunner.
All of you are babies!
It starts with a turret section, then your landing is opposed by Breed forces, and after breaking out of the beach there's a trek to be made. Along the way there's Breed ambushes, supplies to find, vantage points to use and patrolling tanks to eliminate. Mission 2 is where you learn to stay away from ledges.
Wait here!
No problem, sir.
It's set on the same map and you're to check out a crashed dropship and open a door. Sorry, activate a door. Also listen to this music.
Can anyone stop the mechanical mayhem?
Already, millions of mutants disguised as human beings are walking the streets of Earth City.
Yeah, I haven't talked about it, but this game has some killer tracks. Mission 3 is where you learn to stay away from bridges.
Yes, sir. This is not good.
I hope you like ledge walking. Anyway, you recover the data that supposedly tells us how Earth was conquered. I say supposedly because we're never told. Next mission we're piloting a dropship straight into the atmosphere before having a little dogfight, but the game doesn't trust us to land. We then drive a tank around. Tanks in this game are amazing. They've got machine guns everywhere and their arsenal is enormous. Rockets, guided rockets, a plasma cannon and a minigun. Next level as you destroy SAMs, then land as a bodysuit marine to rescue resistance members, then switch to a fighter pilot to escort the dropship back to space. Don't worry guys, I play War Thunder.
You were killed in action.
Oh, they do too. Okay.
Just like the simulation.
Every single dogfight is like this. You usually shouldn't have any problem defending dropships unless the Breed smash into it. The fighters are easy to eliminate unless they fly into you. And ground targets are easy to hit unless a robot kamikaze intercepts you.
You were killed in action. The Breed dropship takes Alvarez to be interrogated on the mother ship. Mankind thanks you once again for your time and effort.
And no, I don't think it's done on purpose, they're constantly smashing into the terrain as well. There's a fake mandatory stealth section next, followed by a hot landing to rush into an array and bug the Breed communication network. We found out where the Breed are keeping the leader of the resistance and we go rescue her. An air and ground superiority mission first.
Destroy all Breed fighters. before we can send it.
Then a turret section, a very short prison break, and another turret section. Next up, we're investigating a distress signal, which is never a bait in any video game or movie ever. After another turret section, where you can actually leave the gun and walk inside the dropship, you get to the crash site and surprise surprise, it was bait. Last time we investigated a crash, nobody had survived, but I guess we can't just leave any of our infinitely available clones behind. Anyway, we're actually taken prisoner and then freed by Lieutenant Annoying.
Terrain scanner inoperative.
Come on, stick with it. There's no time for sightseeing. Careful. Is there a problem with your legs or what? You don't seem to be using them. Move, you fool. This isn't really your thing, is it? Damn it. The door's locked. The breed have locked down the whole complex. You've got to take the main lift and throw the override switch. I'll wait here and keep your back covered.
A daring escape ensures, complete with driving sections, witch hunting sections, and bugged scripts sections. We also eventually find out that the breed are strogifying captured grunts.
Stinky Peters, is that you? Oh God, what have they done to you? Chubby Johnson, not you as well.
Next mission, we're raiding a vehicle depot. Space dogfight, re-entry, and another dogfight in canyons. Probably the best flight level.
Were killed in action.
We land a tank platoon and this time the map doesn't funnel us in one direction, so we're free to drive around with our 3 tanks. But oh no, turns out Lieutenant Annoying was a traitor.
Treason doesn't look good on your army record, Parker.
I am not a spy.
Go back to warding conflict, Parker. For the final set of missions, we play as a guy named Snake instead of a generic grunt. I'm not sure why this guy has a name, to be honest. And why Snake? Snake shit? Snake Plinskin? Solid Snake? Steve Snake. Anyway, one last space dogfight, then we go back to the spaceship where we have to defend Carla, the resistance leader.
Oh, come on, I need you here! If you kill me, all of our efforts will have been for nothing!
She then runs off alone before asking us for help.
Oh my god! Stop the breed! Here! I'll run to the bridge and reactivate our defense system!
We save her and she immediately bolts forward into more and more breed, not even stopping to shoot them. Needless to say, it took some tries to get her to the final waypoint. Final boss time.
Now to our last job of the day. 2 breed generals.
With them dead, the game is finally over.
Hey, Snake! You're my hero! I always did believe in you. Those bastards didn't stand a chance against your highly trained...
Well done, boys. We've repulsed the enemy attack. Humanity will survive. To be continued.
But instead, Brat Designs went broke. Also, what was she trying to say?
As a small gesture of thanks, I'd like to invite you over to my place.
Steve, you're one lucky snake. So, breed. More like bad, buggy, crashy, and with some awful levels. The game has plenty of tools for players to have fun with, but the level design seldom gives them the freedom to fully utilize them. The enemies are never really a threat to you, but your teammates are always in danger. It crashes often and lots of broken scripts force you to replay the levels. If you decide to play this game, my advice would be save every bridge you cross, every ledge your squad survives, and any elevator that doesn't kill you.
You're escaping.
Move yourself!
If it weren't for the technical issues, Breed would have been a mechanical marvel hindered by mediocre design, but as it stands it's just a mess. Which is a pity. I think the designers have some genuinely good ideas and the setting, while cheesy and unoriginal, is fun and visually interesting. It was cathartic to finally finish this game, but it was an annoying experience. As I said before, I don't recommend Breed even with the price tag of 0. It's an interesting footnote in FPS history, but not worth playing. Okay, that was Breed. Thanks for watching. See ya!
Hello and welcome to DCRN. Who said war's hell, huh? War? War? What is it good for? Blowing up, that's why. I love war. War's a blast. Without war, it would be too quiet. War stirs up the emotions and boils the adrenaline. Will I die? Will I live? Who cares? It's the experience that matters. War's a big wake-up call to the mundane tedium we call life. And today I will be chatting to some of the lucky grunts that have been chosen to fight on the front line. First up on line 1, we have Grunt Skio. How you doing, Skio? How's it hanging?
Hello? Hey. Well, I was born to kill ever since I was really young. And I'm having a mighty fine time doing here.
Yeah?
The only problem being is the blood. With those 3 studs being robotic, I don't get to see enough blood. But I've kind of solved that problem by cutting myself when I get a quiet moment. Not quite deep to the bone, but just enough to get the flow going.
On to our next caller. And on line 2, we have Grunt G. How's things, G?
My guts won't fit back in!
Okay, sorry to hear that, G. And on to our next caller. Line 3. And we have Captain Catlin. How's tricks, Captain?
Things are going well! We've only lost 20 grunts today, which ain't bad considering we lost 72 yesterday and 184 before that. So yeah, we're getting better. Morale is definitely on the up.
Thank you, Captain Catlin. That's really good to hear. Now on, line 4, we have Grunt Righty. How you doing, Righty? How's things in Righty Town?
Hello? Hello? Well, ever since my body was destroyed by 2 breed artillery shells, I have been getting used to my new mechanical parts.
Okay, Righty, what do you do in your spare time?
I like to read while my battery is charging, and soup. I've grown to love soup.
Yeah, soup's good. Thanks, Righty. And now a word from our sponsors.
Here at Bombalot, we like to think we're a close-knit family. And in every explosive device we make, a little piece of that family's love is included. Whether it's concentrated incendiary or mass destruction, precision and quality is ensured. Because here at Bombalot, we like to think we care a lot.